Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at race number 9 at Churchill Downs on Turkey Day. It is the Grade 2 Falls City Handicap, fillies and mares, going 9 furlongs. Before we begin with the analysis, let me remind you that DRF's Black Friday sales week in full swing. Save big on DRF's hottest handicapping tools. It's easy. Head on over to shop.drf.com. Let's meet the field for the Grade 2 Falls City at Churchill, again carded as race number 9, co-3-1 morning line favorites. The 6, Sally's Curtain, is on quite a roll, has won 4 out of her last 5 races. Go Google Yourself has won 2 in a row, including a graded stakes race at Churchill Downs. It is a wide open race, and we'll begin with the number 1, Moonlit Garden, Mike. Before we do that, let's throw up the Timeform U.S. pace projector. They're not expecting a lot of pace in this race. The 8, Radek Housekey, we know she's fast. She can make the early lead. This pace projector helps her.
Yeah, she is a fast horse. It's going to be interesting to see how she handles the step up in class, Dan, because she's been on a pretty good run in New York, but she's stepping up to face open company now.
Moonlit Garden, I liked her race 4 starts back. When she won the Iowa Distaff at Prairie Meadows, she basically saved ground. She got a nice trip and ride against Florent Giroux, and she was just better than those horses, earning an 86 buyer, but she really ran in the lane. Now, she's run well in her subsequent 3 starts, but I'm beginning to wonder if she's truly a graded stakes horse, or maybe she's a cut below. You're getting Brad Cox at a price.
I wonder about it too, Dan, but I also sort of feel like between, her and Go Google Yourself and My Lady Curlin, I don't know if there's a lot to separate these 3 horses, and she feels like she's just going to be a much better price than them. I don't know. I think she's a little interested in here. I also feel like maybe 9 furlongs is better for her than the other 2, so there are things to like about this horse.
The number 2, Aria, is a very lightly raced filly, and maybe her buyer speed figures are a little light, but I also think she's starting to come into her own for trainer Brendan Walsh. She's a very well-bred filly that should have no issue with this 1 1/8. And if you look at her 3 races in this form cycle, I like the fact they tried her back on turf just to get a race into her off the long layoff. She ran into Geltrin, who on her best day is pretty good. And last time out at Keeneland, she got the confidence builder. Let's watch that race right now. Aria is going to angle to the outside. She's in the blue cap in the 4-path, and she wears these horses down. I like the way she finished this race off. And again, I think she has a lot of upside. 20-1 on the morning line just seems like a lot of value.
Yeah, it does to me too. We'll see what price she ultimately settles at. She has to improve to win this race, but it feels like that's what she's doing right now. It feels like she's just really improving. She was pretty good at the end of last year, I thought, showed some hints of some real ability. Maybe she's ready to show it in this race. She's going to be a good price. I don't know if she'll be 20-1, but she's going to be a good price.
The number 3, My Lady Curlin, is a strong contender in this race. She won 5 in a row through the spring and into the summer, finished 3rd behind Go Google Yourself in the Grade 3 Locust Grove. I really just couldn't find the excuse last time out in the Chaluki, Mike. Maybe they went fast early and she was up close to that pace, but to me it looked like Sally's Curlin just ran her over in the lane. 1 1/8, no issue for this one.
Yeah, she's won twice at a 1 1/8, and it's been very close both times, but she has handled it. I mean, she makes a lot of sense in this race, Dan. She's obviously a major contender. Like you, I was a little disappointed in her last race.
Seems like a tough spot to make a dirt debut, but they're going to give it a try with the number 4, Vivina, who has won on synthetic, who has won on turf. Really is a distance-loving sort, might actually need a little bit more ground than the 1 1/8. But in a race like this, I think what she's hoping for is that pace scenario is correct from Timeform US, that it's going to be bunched, that it's going to be a slow pace, and maybe she has the best kick. She's going to be a big price. I don't want to knock her too much, but it's a lot to ask.
Yeah, and that was the case, too, of her most recent win, Dan. The allowance race at Keeneland in April. It had a huge pace going a 1 1/2. She closed it down. She's going to need that again, and then we'll see if she handles dirt.
Overthinking has won at a 1 1/8 at Churchill Downs in the past, albeit in an off-the-turf race. I get the feeling that she's a little bit better as a turf horse. She's somewhat versatile from a running standpoint, which I guess gives her a bit of a puncher's chance in here if they can keep her close to the pace. I just wonder if she's been exposed already after 20 lifetime starts.
I kind of feel like she has, and it's not like her dirt form is that good. I mean, her dirt form doesn't really make her that contentious in here.
Sally's Curlin might very well be the horse to beat. She's won her last 3, 4 out of her last 5. She really appreciates Churchill Downs. Last time out, she just blew by that field. Corey Lannery had her saving ground. He took her to the outside a half mile out. She made this smooth move on the turn to get into contention, widest turning into the stretch, and she ran him down. 90 buyer speed figure. I guess the 1 1/8 is a little bit of a question mark, but I look at this pedigree, I don't have that many issues with it.
I know she's bred to get it. Now we'll see if she can do it on the racetrack. I mean, I like the way she's headed, Dan. Her last 3 races are good. I really liked her last win. If she can keep that form going and stretch out, she's supposed to be tough in here.
Are you concerned about the lack of pace, though, for her? Because while some of these other horses seem a bit adaptable to the pace scenario, Sally's Curlin just is a horse that doesn't have a lot of early speed. She's probably going to be lingering near the back of the pack. And against this good field, maybe that's one of the reasons to take a shot against at a shortish price.
That's a very good point, actually. Her running style could really work against her in this race. We'll see if it sets up for her.
Princess Causeway, really lightly raced, nicely bred daughter of Giants Causeway, got a win at 7 furlongs last time out with an 85 Beyer speed figure. I wouldn't be surprised if she can build a little bit off that race for Ian Wilkes. I like that she wheeled back out of that race 11 days later with a quick bullet 5 furlong work in 59 and change. Something tells me that this filly is in career form, and stretching out in distance, she can be relatively close to this pace.
Yeah, I think she's really interested in here as well. It's just the kind of filly who I just want to use somewhere in this race. As far as the distance goes, I'm not sure how far she really wants to go, but she's another one who's bred to get this far. She was good last time. She was good when she won the 2-turn race at Keeneland at the end of last year in the slop, and her goldenrod isn't as bad as it looks then. They walked in front of her in there, and she was wide.
It's safe to say that the number 8 Radek Housekey has made up for lost time. Just consider her career debut was in May as a 5-year-old. She's run 6 times already this year. She's hit the board in every one, 4 wins, including a victory in the Empire Distaff last time out, going a mile. Now, she took control of this race on the turn under a very confident ride. She makes the lead. The runner-up, Our Supernova, next out winner, is going to attack her down towards the inside. I know the margin is only ahead. I thought Radek Housekey always had just a little bit more. She has won at a mile and an eighth, and as Timeform US indicates, she might get an easy lead in this spot. Radek Housekey has been working at Churchill Downs. She's going to be tough if she gets that easy lead.
She will. The pace could really work to her advantage. Boy, it's very odd to see a horse who didn't debut till 5 and then actually turn out to be good, but she has turned out to be good. Listen, I like what she's been doing lately. I think she's a lot better than I ever thought she was going to be. I kind of want to see her. This isn't the toughest field in the world, but I kind of want to see her prove it against horses like this.
If I'm Brian Hernandez Jr. on the 9 Go Google Yourself, I'd be kind of aggressive out of there. I wouldn't want Radek Housekey to get too far away. This horse has enough tactical speed to stay close. And if Radek Housekey finds this step up in class and maybe the mile and an eighth a little bit too testing, there's a scenario where Go Google Yourself will be in prime contention turning into the stretch. And you can't argue with the form she's in right now. She's won 2 in a row. She likes Churchill Downs. What do you think about her ability at a mile and an eighth? I think it's too soon to judge because the only loss was against a Leighton Blue Prize at this distance.
I mean, I agree. I don't really want to hold it against her yet, but I do wonder how far she wants to go. We'll see what happens with her. She's going to get a really good trip in this race, I think, and that really plays to her advantage. I like her last 2 races just fine. I wouldn't take too short a price on her, though.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Grade 2 Falls City Handicap. Mike, you're going with the 20-1 shot on the morning line, the very upwardly mobile Aria, and I think she's going to work out a pretty good trip breaking towards the inside.
I thought she'd get a good trip in this race, too. I know it's maybe a lot to ask. She has to improve to beat this field, but I don't know. I'm not, terrified by the favorites in here. I want horses at better prices. I liked her and Princess Causeway, the other 3-year-old. I think they're both going to be good prices. I think they both have real chances in here.
I want to use the 7 Princess Causeway in there as well. She's my 3rd pick. I'm hoping that pace does make the race in here. I think Radek Housekey, if she breaks, can establish the early lead. And we'll see if she's good enough. This New York bred's taken a big step up in class, as Mike mentions. I wonder how they're going to bet this race. We've got 2 3-1 shots. Radek Housekey is 7-2. If this horse is 5-2, I wouldn't want her. If she drifts to 4-1, she becomes a lot more interesting. Mike's going 2-7-8-3. I'm going 8-6-7-3. Grade 2 Falls City Handicap. Approximate post time 3:24 Eastern. Happy Thanksgiving.